from 2010, I would say, yeah, from 2010 to 2020, this year, I got married. My wife and I had 2 kids. We bought our first home. I went full time into my business. So a lot of things happened, and those things wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that vision, that care in front of me to propel myself, push myself past what I felt, and also building a community of individuals that would push me when I didn't have the energy to push myself.
Okay, so you're one of the only Black men that I know that's an entrepreneur and married and a father. You know, so I feel like I'd be missing an opportunity if I wasn't asking you.
You didn't ask this, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, talk to us about balancing that. Those conversations that you need to have with the wife. I don't want to get probably too much because.
Listen, this is something we talk about a lot, both my wife and I. But I'll allow you to finish the question. Sorry.
No worries. Talk to us about those conversations that you have with the wife to just have a level playing field, and try to establish empathy with what you're doing and the goals you're trying to get throughout the marriage, because it's a messy middle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So first things first, and you may have heard it in my colleague's podcast, O'Shane Howard, when he was asked this question about balance. But there is no balance. I don't believe in balance. I believe that we live a life of extremes. What do I mean by that? I mean that today I'm a great husband. I may be a great husband, and I may not be a great business person, right, to my clients. Tomorrow I may be an amazing cinematographer and person to work with, but I may not be a great father because I can't go to that recital because I'm at this shoot, right? You know, so there are compromises that you make, but you make it. First of all, you can't miss, a recital more than once, right? You can't do it twice in a row or 3 times in a row. You got to be present. You got to be aware of the heartbeat and the rhythm and the cadence of first your wife or your partner, and then your children as well. So I think this is something that had to be learned, because you have to understand that my wife and I, and we talk about this a lot on different platforms, but she came from more of a traditional West Indian home, in the sense of both of her parents, although they weren't together, they both had government jobs. They kind of did the 9-to-5 thing, and once they plugged out, right? My parents, although they started there, they ended in entrepreneurship. So for the first half of my life, maybe from 0 years old to maybe 10, I saw my dad go to a 9-to-5 job, but then he was also hustling on the side, doing 3 weddings a week. He was working for Toronto Hydro from Monday to Friday, and then he would do 3 weddings on the weekends, and he would bring my older brother to help assist on those weddings. And my mom would be at home, and then she would also work at daycares because she was an ECU worker. And then it got to a point where my dad was only doing photography. And when he was only doing photography, he got to a place where he was literally doing, 10, 12 hours of work, and just so passionate about what he wanted to do. And there had to be a level of understanding from both myself and my wife of where we were coming from. So for her, work was you worked, your 8 hours, you unplugged, and then home was a place to chill. For me, work was, I work for the man, Apple or whoever else, and then I come home and I work for myself to then do the work that I don't necessarily want to do, but I have to do, so then I can do and have the decision-making power later on in my life to do what I want to do, right? And for a while, that was a little bit of an area of contention, because those were 2 different ideologies, right? One was I'm going to plug into something. The other one was I was going to be the plug, right? That everything plugs into, right? So understanding the cadence really had to come through years of communication, being committed to understanding that at the end of the day, we want to be together. We love each other. We're building a family together, but we also need to be sensitive to each other's needs and what's important to each other. So for her, what's important to her is time. Time with the family, time with her, being able to invest in our home and invest in vacationing and things of that nature. And for me, I enjoy doing YouTube videos. I enjoy teaching people. I enjoy doing things like this, having conversations with you. So it's understanding that, some days I'm going to be doing this 8 hours. Other days I'm unplugged for a weekend. you know what I mean? Or a couple of days, or I'm going to go on vacation and nobody's going to know where I'm at. And I'm just going to be my wife and have, you know, hubby and wifey time. So it's really understanding that there is no ambiguity. There's no sort of like area for like just gray area. There's just a lot of extremes. And once you understand that and embrace that, it's a freeing experience.
Yeah. The one thing about being an entrepreneur is that we have relationships that we have to manage, but like I think our first and foremost thing that we do care about the most is our business, especially starting early on. It's like a juggle to like have a girlfriend and also work on your business. They're working on their own thing too, and you're together. It's a mess. And I've never met an entrepreneur who's perfected it like really well, where they're 100% investing in their business. They're working so hard and also keeping everybody happy. And I see what you mean by like it's extremes, right? There's no balance. You can't really balance and get the best out of everything. It's like something has to suffer, something has to give, but it's just about communicating what has to give at that time.
And I just want to add to your point. The one commitment that I made when my son was born and my daughter as well was that I would rather be a good business person and a great, you know, a good creative and a great or amazing dad than be a so-so dad and be an amazingly successful entrepreneur and business person. For me, the value was in being a father, was being there for my family, right? So there are opportunities that I have to decline based upon my value system. So what I would say to those that are in the creative sector, that are maybe single, that want to start a family, or that have a family that want to go into their creative career, you got to really set your values first and figure out what's valuable to you and your family. Or if it's just yourself, you as an individual, before you start making decisions, life decisions, that now you have to kind of reformat and reconfigure. But for me, I'm completely okay with, you know, if my life stays at this level, in the sense of, you know, this level of success, this level of influence, I'm completely okay with that. You know, it's taken me a long time to feel that way. And I know that there's going to be more opportunities. I truly believe that in my heart. But if the other opportunities don't come, I still have a beautiful wife, amazing kids. I have a great life. I get to travel. People send me around, you know, to film stuff for them, and I get to travel around the world. I don't really have anything to complain about.
Yeah,
I hear that. So let's dive more into building the biz. So, now we kind of talked about Apple and building the biz through then, you know, working and getting 4 hours of sleep to get ahead of the competition. All right. So now you have a clientele. Talk to us about maintaining the clientele, growing that business, maintaining it, paying taxes. Like, what was that middle for you like? Thank you for watching that video. To see the next video, click right over here. And to subscribe, click right over here. Peace.